This will be my second really major picture. The two I made before were slightly sort of smaller budgets and not quite sort of huge feature films. The Fall of the Roman Empire and this are really... And I waited purposely till I was in my 30s to, in a way, to start. And I feel more ready to go into films, having had enough sort of backlog of training in the theater. And if for instance, nothing worked and I wasn't any good and I didn't make a sort of mark in films, I could always go back to the theater as a sort of insurance policy. But a stage actor does suffer from ennui a bit in movies. I try and study what happens behind the camera, which fascinates me, because one day I'd like to direct a film. It would be a marvelous, ideal situation if I was to direct pictures and act in the theater, but I don't know if that'll ever come true. The funny thing about movies is that if you don't make a large amount of money, the powers that be in the film industry don't particularly respect your talent. Most of them, I'm afraid, judge talent by the amount of money you make. And so you have to demand for these outrageous sums, most of which you don't see, of course. But I'm afraid talent in the motion picture industry is usually based on how much is he worth. And if he's a $250,000 actor or a $500,000 actor, the $500,000 actor is going to get the best pickings.
Witty question. I am amusing, I suppose. Do have the finest couturier in Vienna.
Cut? Nobody happy?
That's a print, please.
That's a print.
Hold 4.
All
right, camera reloading. Right. We see you here on the...
I've had a kind of bad reputation because I do get angry at rehearsals. I don't mean it personally. I do try and suggest things. Perhaps sometimes it isn't my job to suggest. But one must to survive. And if one has an idea, one must speak his mind and get it out. And of course, a lot of people don't understand that. And they think you're treading on their toes. They think you're taking over the boss's work, the director's work. And whereas you're not really. You're just trying to contribute.
Well, I am. If you want to go a little more, you can. This way. Oh, yes, this is a boy. Now, step back, Chris, would you please, before you move in?
I suppose, in a way, that's why one is called difficult. People don't understand the word. It's a true kind of temperament that an artist must have. Impatience with stupidity and lackadaisical and people who don't work at their job.
And you discovered your musical leanings were a dividend, I gather, from chatting with him.
Well, I'm hoping. I haven't quite recorded them all yet, so let's not be too sure. But yeah, he knew how serious I was to try to sing in it. He was very nice and told me quite early on that it was possible that I could be dubbed if I didn't want to.
Meaning but somebody else could do the singing voice for you.
That's right. But I don't want that. I mean, that's not the point. So I'm really insisted on trying to sing.
Did you know at the time that you first talked to Bobby Wise who your leading ladies were going to be?
Absolutely. Oh, that was one of the reasons I decided to do it. I think if it had been, honestly, anyone else, I wouldn't have done it because of Julie Andrews.
Take that great.
In order to eliminate background noise in a busy Salzburg square, Julie Andrews sings to a playback of her own voice, while the camera captures one of her Rodgers and Hammerstein songs in widescreen Technicolor.
All righty, roll it.
What does happiness mean to you, Chris?
Happiness? I love the word. Happiness has always sounded like such a roundedly square word. It's cubic, absolutely cubic, the word happiness. It has nothing to do with anything to me. Sadness means everything to me. Because sadness gives birth to comedy and tragedy. Sadness gives birth to talent. most talent comes from sort of sadness and an inability to express oneself in one way, so one desperately clings to a sort of another tact and kind of reaches it through that. And through their sadness, some marvelous things happen. All beauty is sad to me, and funny.
And the talk turns to talent. Can it be defined?
No, you can't break talent down. You can only nurture it and build it up. Because I suppose every one of us has talent. And if we had the opportunity, and if we had the background, or if we'd had sometimes the money and the chance and the freedom to express it, freedom most important, we could all be talented at something.
Some of us who are exposed to the public in some way or another, in drama, in music, in art, or whatever, are so fortunate to be able to have the chance. Some of us fail miserably, you know. We know where the men are separated from the boys, but does the world know